Sage.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker, thank you. I think the name of our country, New Zealand, and Aotearoa, land of the long white cloud, reflects the sense of place that New Zealanders have and the connection with our land. And I think we've heard that today in the House with the special connection that members individually have referred to areas of land which the bill deals with that are in their constituencies, which they have dealt with or which they have a particular affinity with. And while it is a bill which tidies up the law, it deals with land that doesn't justify a particular bill in its own right, but tidies up the status of reserves where there's been roads have been widened through Western National Park, Taipapatini, Paparoa National Park, Kahurangi, and the land that was part of the National Park now becomes part of the road reserve. So small changes like that. But the bill is also significant for the way it has been changed in its process through this House. And the Green Party has been particularly interested in the Walls Bay Esplanade Reserve in Northland. And we congratulate the former Minister, Maurice Williamson, and the current Minister for the supplementary order paper which removed clauses 34A, 34B and 34C from the bill. Because those clauses were inserted by the Primary Production Select Committee in response to submissions, and they effectively overrode the provisions of the Reserves Act and sought to grant a particular benefit to an individual in contravention with normal practice. And there has been quite a lot of concern in Northland because this Walls Bay Esplanade Reserve is as I understand it, the only Esplanade Reserve in the Opua area. It's part of the Bay of Islands Walkway. It's an important area for mana whenua. It's the subject of a treaty claim, and it's very close to the po whenua which were planted at Opua by Ngāpuhi leader Sir James Henare. Now, this particular bit of Esplanade Reserve, Mr Doug Schmucki, has a boatyard. And while the Department of Conservation has been prepared to grant him the right to take boats out of the sea and take them to his boatyard, he was also seeking the right to use the reserve for cleaning boats, for scraping them down, and that compromised the use of the reserve by the public for picnicking and other uses, and just completely changed the amenity value. So the changes that the Primary Production Select Committee made to effectively privatise the reserve, and which the SOP, which we dealt with in the committee stages, have now taken out those amendments, preserves the integrity of the Walls Bay Esplanade Reserve. And so we congratulate the Minister for doing that, because otherwise we would have a situation where bills are going out for comment, some members of the public make submissions, others aren't aware of the issue, and Parliament could potentially have changed the law without affected parties being able to comment. And the changes were controversial too, because it was the Northland MP at the time, John Carter, who had assisted in the advocacy around that. And I guess the concern now, while Parliament is dealing with this by the SOP in the committee stages, I now understand that locals are concerned by the Far North District Council's attempts to do the same thing through changes to the Walls Bay Management Plan. But because those provisions around Opua and the Esplanade Reserve were removed, the Green Party is supporting this bill because all of the other changes are uncontroversial. And I endorse the comments made by the Honourable David Parker, having been on the Local Government and Environment Select Committee when we dealt with Jackie Deans's bill in terms of the Waitaki District Council empowering legislation, because that was seeking to catch up and overtake this bill, which it duly did in resolving the status of Lookout Point and Cape Wanbrow. So, Mr Speaker, commend the bill and thank you.